All right, and we are live.
Welcome back to Vyapaar Jagat TV, and we have a question arising in everybody's mind. We work in a stressful atmosphere. We take stresses. We get depressed. What about our wellness and what about our health? Health here doesn't mean just physical health. It means mental health. It takes cares about the spiritual health and the family health. There are various aspects when we talk about health, and we come with a concept of healthcare, about the future of the healthcare. The way the routine life which we are following is too fast, it's too unhealthy, not in just concept of eating the food habits. We also follow a very bad body routine habit, and where our health is always at stake. But we are here with the panel of wonderful doctors, and we also have Dr. Usha Nair, who is going to moderate this session about the future of healthcare. But first, let me introduce Dr. Usha Nair, because it would be my pleasure to introduce her. She's a beautiful soul, divine smile, and that wins a lot of hearts here. Dr. Usha Nair is a disease reversal expert and specialist in genomic wellness. More than 3 decades in healthcare, both mainstream and complementary and alternative therapies. She is an author of Gene Based Life, The Art and Science of Nutrigenomics. She is a trained TEDx speaker, health and wellness coach, and a meditation teacher. Now she is also practicing quantum terra, HZ therapy, and craniosacral therapy as treatment modalities, amongst other. Ma'am, it's such a wonderful pleasure to have you here on board as a moderator, and I see a very strong team for this session, and we would all love it to have this session more vibrating and positive vibes from here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here with us, and the board is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jalpan. You're such a sweet darling, as always. Well, friends, a very good evening. And all my online and offline colleagues, peers, and seniors, and our viewers. So, welcome to this panel discussion on the future of healthcare. Yes, each one of us here is a startup in our own way. We are trying to solve a problem for the masses, and I would like to introduce my panel. We have Dr. Vikesh Shah, we have Dr. Avinash Tank, we have Dr. Shilpa Desai, we have Dr. Raghu Narayan, we have Dr. Harish Reddy. I think he is not here, not very sure. Avni, may I request to call him? And of course, me, Dr. Usha Nair. Well, each of us is from a different field, a different, I will say, vertical of healthcare. And we all, I'm sure none of us also have the same kind of qualifications. So each one of them is a subject matter expert in their own way. And what I will say is the best in healthcare is yet to happen. And I would like to firstly invite Dr. Vikesh Shah. He's an MBBS and MD from AIMS, New Delhi. And what he does, he's from Ahmedabad, right, Dr. Vikesh?
Yes, I'm from Ahmedabad.
He's from Ahmedabad, and he does something very unique, which is called as a cancer immunotherapy. And with this, what magic happens, what all can be done is all over to you, Dr. Vikesh Shah. When I mentioned, let us start with what you do, how it is helpful. So that is where it comes out. What is the problem we are trying to solve as of date? And yes, another question to all my friends would always be, today we are reaching, say, about 1 lakh population in our area. So as a startup, for the people who are watching us and they think of a startup, what is it that it will take to reach 1 million? We all have that as a
Yes,
goal, right?
yes,
Reaching
yes, yes,
as many in the masses. So if I
yes,
say reaching 1 million, what is it that it will take for your enterprise to go forward?
yes, yes, sure. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Vikesh Shah. I'm
Good
from
evening.
Ahmedabad and I'm practicing into cancer immunotherapy. Basically, I'm practicing into personalized and targeted cancer immunotherapy. So, what we do in cancer immunotherapy is whoever the cancer patient comes to me, what we say, we draw his blood. In the blood, there are specialized WBCs which have the ability to fight against cancer. So we extract these WBCs. They are called as dendritic cells and cytotoxic T cells. So we extract these dendritic cells, and we also need patient's tumor biopsy tissue. From patient's tumor biopsy tissue, we identify various tumor mutations, and we make these tumor mutations to express the tumor antigens. We extract these tumor antigens, and with these tumor antigens, we activate the WBCs, the dendritic cells and cytotoxic T cells. So once they get activated, we retransplant these cells back into the patient's body. So once in patient's body, these cells will now start targeting the cancer in patient's body. So this personalized and targeted immunotherapy is even effective in stage 4 cancer patients and patients with multiple metastases. Where chemotherapy, radiotherapy stop working, it is highly effective in these patients also. And there is a possibility of cure in even stage 4 cancer patients who undergo this immunotherapy. So this is the latest innovative field in cancer, and this is going to be the next future in cancer treatment. In 2011, Dr. Ralph Steinman, he was working in this field, and he has been awarded Nobel Prize for his work in this field in the year 2011. So I can tell you that I am the first cancer immunotherapy specialist of the state of Gujarat, and there are very few who are practicing into this field all over India. So this is my work, this is my startup, this is my specialization, this is my core work.
So, what is it that motivated you to start or get into this field? What is your background?
My background, after MBBS, there was a lot of things going on in my mind that what needs to be done into specialization and these things. So I was always intuitive regarding the research part of medicine. So and I had some of my relatives whom I lost with cancer, and it was one of the deadliest disease which everyone knows. So there was some kind of what we say hunger to do something in this field, and luckily I was at AIMS, and in AIMS I got connected with this field, and then I started taking ahead and started working in this field.
Wow, great. So, how many are your? I don't know if I should ask that. In healthcare, we can't ask how many patients you have, but how many lives do you think you have already been able to reverse or change in the from the time you have started your startup, and how is it you intend to reach many more?
I just would like to create the social awareness regarding this field, and there are many patients whom have saved, whom I have been treating. There are many in fact, there are many doctors or relatives of doctors who are undergoing treatment right now with under me. And the patients are there with me who have come at stage 4 with multiple meds, who had come almost 3 years, 4 years ago, and they're still surviving with this treatment, so which is not possible in other where they had lost hope. There is still a hope going on with them.
So, what is the stages ideally that you have been able to really reverse? Usually, we say cancer in the early stages detected is very easily reversed. And what is your opinion? Should people go in for conventional healthcare, or they can look up to your immunotherapy and not go in for the conventional healthcare methods and treatments that we have? What is your opinion? What is your say
my,
on it?
my opinion is, if patients are in early stage, obviously conventional healthcare is going to help them a lot. But if the patients who have been diagnosed in later stages or who have a recurrence, surely we should what we say, consider immunotherapy along with the conventional treatment, so that they can be taken out of the advanced stage of cancer which they have been diagnosed.
So you also help them with the conventional medications, or you send them to another specialist?
No, with the conventional medications, I send them to the concerned specialist.
Great. That's I think a learning lesson for me also, because what I understood always with alternate complementary therapies that I've been in the last 3 decades, you get them at the initial stage, let them finish their treatments, and then I am into disease reversal, more of preventive predictive. So that's where the outlook comes, saying that come back after you're cured in the initial stage. And
Yeah.
definitely we can ensure that with my genomics that you do not get that disease again, where I can't promise them, but I can always assure them. So
Yes, yes.
learning to me is in the last stages, where I had 2 very big cases of cancer stage 4 with me. But when I started treating them, I just realized kuch din kam pade.
Kuch
So
din kam
how do
pade.
you feel? I'm sure you must have faced that.
Yeah, I have been facing most of my cases are of those types, but I get really satisfied when I see people in that stage when they go for the follow-up tests, follow-up scans, and the scan shows the disease has decreased in their body and their quality of life has been drastically improved. So that gives a ultimate satisfaction.
So passion turned profession.
Yes, passion turned profession. That's true.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Vikesh. It was
Thank
great to
you.
have you here. Let
Thank
me now
you.
go over to Dr. Raghu Narayan. Dr. Raghu is from Bangalore. As
Yes,
such,
ma'am.
I know him as a orthodontist. Okay. But he has sort of taken it to the next level in his field, where he is now director of academic of advanced endodontists. And what I also know is he has foreign students coming to learn from him, and that working as a startup, when we have lot of the conventional is one word, the traditional colleges for orthodontists and everything in India, abroad. So how did you do that magic, Dr. Raghu? Please tell us a little more about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Usha. And I'm an endodontist. Since in dentist, we have the tongue twister, endodontist, orthodontist, prosthodontist. It's a kind of thing that's it's
Endodontist.
confusing.
Yes.
So, okay, thanks for having me here. The thing is, we hold the world's 1/6 population. And the kind of cases, I'm sure that Dr. Avinash, Dr. Vivek, Dr. Shilpa will agree with me that the kind of cases what we have seen and dealt, the world has not seen, probably they have just seen in the textbooks. We see them on a daily basis. But still, the kind of mentality what we have, like the Western textbooks or Western this thing, we have heavily been influenced by those kind of things. It's a kind of a early stage a mindset we have developed. So in coming to my field, in dentistry as such, we clearly say that it's a dentistry is an art and science and the knowledge. You need to have a knowledge and the skills to perform that. And as Indians and as South Asians, we know that we are great in our hand skills. Like we can hold beat, not like a fork and spoon. We can play with the fingers, and that is the talent we have. And that's the knowledge we have. And why are we going abroad to learn all these things? So that was the idea. And unfortunately, in dentistry, what has happened is, except the BDS and MDS, we do not have any in-between programs. So this led, when I went to for higher education, super specialization to different universities, I realized that we have an abundant talent, knowledge, and the cases available here. And what is that we are coming here? And then we started with our own training center with the simulators. We could not afford to give a direct patient experience, which is immoral, unethical, directly experiment on the patient. Hence, we started with the simulation lab. So eventually it happened that the kind of training what we started incorporating, be it involving all types of learning, audio, video, kinesthetics, it's not just listening, not just seeing, even performing, led to the kind of an image in the overall dental field that, okay, here is a center where we can go and experience and learn the newer things. It was planned only for an Indian student. Then eventually it happened that, even doctors from the abroad started approaching us and coming here, and it gives an immense pleasure, when you see that, a little now the training, what we have done here is solving so many smiles and so many painful conditions across the globe.
So what is that one thing for Indian entrepreneurs that you will share or say as an authority where you have been able to attract foreign students and foreign academicians? What is it that we need to do to actually super specialize and show that India is the best?
I was waiting for this question so badly, honestly. See, the first thing what we need to understand as an Indian practitioner is language is not a skill. English should not be your limitation. Just because you could not express in English, don't think that you're less compared to anybody else. That's the first thing they have to identify. And the second thing is the kind of exposure and the kind of experience what they're gaining by treating the patient is never been documented. That is where we lose out. Many of the practitioners, I'm sure that many will agree with me, they're doing a tremendous work, but there is no documentation of such cases, and hence we are unable to express ourselves in a global platform that, what is really possible in Indian side. So from that point, what I would say is just two things. One is like, you don't need to be a super expert in your language skills or vocabulary skills. And the second thing is your expertise need to be documented. When you have those two things put together, then you have the right mindset to attract the rest of the world. Western world is not the whole world. It is like, we are sitting on a big population, solving numerous healthcare issues, and we have been successful, just a 40-year-old, 50-year-old country where we just started seeing the modern medical or dental practice, and the kind of treatment what we are providing is nowhere shorter than any of the top or the best countries in the world. So we have to acknowledge that and take that approach.
So isn't it true that most of our actual traditional medicine practices, grandmother's times recipes, methodologies, they're all taken away by the West and patentized? So what do you think about patenting what you're doing?
It hurts when I see Colgate coming and approaching finally a neem or a Ved Shakti or a charcoal base, and which we've been saying for centuries. And finally, a Western product has to come and say that, okay, see, this is a benefit, and then we'll start buying it, and not before that. And of course, it is a kind of a tragedy. But coming back to the kind of a traditional medicine influence in our general health, as you are in the field of predictive and preventive side, many of our dental products have not been evolved. And very extremely, it pains me to say those things, be it on the oral care side or be it on the many things. We import 98% of our consumables from the Western countries. We haven't evolved to an extent. There is a lot of room, especially for anybody who's looking into a new startup. If you see that there's a skin care, hair care, and if you come to the garments and any other thing, there's numerous changes. But when it comes to toothpaste, mouthwash, there's not much happening there. There is not much of evolution in that aspect. It is something where everybody uses, and the rest of the world is, probably, they have started looking into this, but I don't see much startup activities in this arena.
So how much of social media or marketing do you actually use? Because that will bring me to the next question. We as healthcare professionals, we don't really look at our own product line, maybe unless you're an Ayurveda practitioner where you look at a manufacturing unit. Today, we still bank on, I may recommend or keep a product line. And what is your take on that? You should have or you shouldn't have?
See, right at the beginning, you touched upon a great point. That is like, as a professionals, we cannot advertise ourselves. And it is good that, we are not able to do. Otherwise, there will be a room for many quacks, who come and start claiming the impractical things and all those things. That is a board to take care of those things. Having said that, how do I reach out to a larger population is always a big question for us. from that context, yes, the social media or the smaller groups in the social or digital platforms are really are the target groups where we can go and express ourselves. Having said that, again, my next bigger hurdle is the algorithm by the which the whole system works. If I don't please that specific algorithm, like I lose it. So hence, doctors are good in many things, but may not be great at self-promotion, or may not be good at all those digital platforms. Hence, I would strongly advise have a team which supports you on that front, especially in the digital platforms where you are been continuously been engaging with your target groups and all this, which is an essential part of the growth. Or else the biggest challenge is like you're good and there's somebody who wants to take it off your or seek your advice, but how do you reach them? It's a big challenge even today.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Raghu. It's a pleasure you're here, and thank you for coming on such a short notice and my invite. I think for a dentist and for a immunotherapist, about having a product line is simply next to impossible. We can't manufacture any kind of, the mainstream, what pharmacology can give us. I don't think we can really get into manufacturing that.
Yes.
But nonetheless, I would now like to go on to Dr. Shilpa Desai, who is the founder of C4 Lifestyle and Diagnostics, very senior healthcare professional, and she's also involved with Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives, and she is a psychologist, right? She's a psychologist by background.
Health psychologist.
Yes. She's a health psychologist by background, and yes, immense work. So, Dr. Shilpa, a little more about you, how you started it as a startup, or how you got involved with the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives, and what is it that you plan for future?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Vyapaar Jagat, for having me here. And I hope that you are listening me properly. The voice is clear right now.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes,
okay.
No
Very
issue.
clear. Yeah, so I'm really immense pleasure to have in the panel with Dr. Vikesh, Raghuji, Dr. Avinash, Dr. Jalpan, Avni, and definitely you, Dr. Usha Nair. So when you ask me that how I started, my journey started when first I've been introduced to this. I'm a thorough scientist. So I'm an experimental scientist. I have done my PhD on 5,000 children with the Brihad Mumbai Mahanagar Palika, and I've taken 58 physiological parameter, and I have taken MHI inventory. So I have become the first health psychologist to use both the parameters of the body and a mind. So it's an MHI inventory which talk about the environmental quotient which we have within, and how the 58 physiological parameter I have used SpO2 and lung function capacity correlated with the hemoglobin of each child having, and how the anemic condition is inversely proportionate, deteriorating us immense, from last 100 years, I could say. So the malnourishment has taken us to the level where now COVID is, how the COVID has hit us, not for the today what we are in a condition. We have
Dr. Shilpa, just one moment. Friends, can I request all of you to mute, and only whoever is speaking to unmute? There are slight disturbances. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Shilpa.
Yeah. So from last 25 years, I'm into this research and the systemic research condition. So when I finished, I started my intervention in 2005, and 2013, I begged PhD. My PhD has been published in US Health Sciences and Research Journal, and several papers has been published. But my take is as an entrepreneur, how I am into it, after my PhD, I understood that how the preventive science has not been in practice, and how the wellness has been so much taken by the quacks, and how the nutrition and everything is science. If you will ask me, You breathe, it's a science. You eat is a science. You convert it into your cellular metabolism, it's a science. Everything is like what Dr. Vikesh will definitely agree with me, Dr. Raghu will agree with me, and Dr. Avinash will definitely, because he is into liver and gastro cancer. So like everything, when we take food in and then we don't have enough oxygen to eradicate it, that is the first thing where your carcinogenic conditions start accumulating. And then the DNA is one thing where Usha, you will agree to me that when I have an inheritance, so मैं spiritually ये बोलती हूँ, हमेशा भगवत गीता बोलता है 50% आप प्रारब्ध लेके आते हो, लेकिन 50% तुमको प्रयत्न भी करना है. And that 50% is what we do for ourselves. So after my PhD, I definitely attended so many conferences when I was represented by Ayush India in Paris. That was my turning point of life, because there WHO, UNICEF was there, 148 countries participated. And you won't believe, Usha, that day I thought that it's the time not to go further, delete research, but it's the time to revert back to the community and do something for them, for our generation, because I feel that our generation need the most now that how they can be into prevention. And preventive is a lifestyle which should be backed by the science, which should be backed by the good doctors, which should be backed by in early preventive strategy, which should be strategized unanimously together. So I think because of that, I thought get back to the life. So C4 lifestyle and diagnostic I have come up with. I have first taken the sports. So I am right now a soccer mentor to European countries, Spain and other country, because they are the one who is utilizing more and expenditure is higher than the what they are accumulating within. So how the protein has been used there. So how soft tissue muscles been getting, affected, injury management, everything. So
great. So what is that one challenge, biggest, close to your heart, that you're trying to solve for the people at large?
Absolutely, it's the wellness. So it's like, I'll tell you, the wellness has been like pani puri, bhel puri, people are using it. And I feel that wellness, illness and sickness. So I always explain like that. There is a difference between the sickness and illness. So when you are in sickness, before that, you should be in a wellness. So we always actually overlook our sickness, our pain, our problems, our small, the body comes and talk to you. So as a health psychologist, I with in TIFR, Dr. Usha, it was a big debate. It's a body or it's a mind. So I said, it's a body, because if I die, can my mind exist? Right? But if my body is alive, my mind can still be a hope, right? So that's why as a health psychologist, I feel it's the time. Do not, mind is a crucial part of it, but first look into it, that how fit you are to carry your mind. So the line which I use is, take care of your body. This is the only place where you exist. So I feel
very true, Dr. Shilpa. And you really made us understand what health psychologist is as compared to a general psychologist. So I will really be covering up that point when I conclude our session. Let me take the privilege. Thank you so much, Dr. Shilpa.
Thank you so much.
Where are you based, Dr. Shilpa?
I'm based at Mumbai, Juhu.
Oh, you're at Mumbai. Great. Now I have an opportunity to introduce Dr. Avinash Tank. He is, I think, from Ahmedabad, right? Namaste, Avinash ji. And he is an MS and MCH, gastroenterologist and an obesity surgeon. So, sir, आप mainstream बहुत कुछ करते हो. And if I say you have a medical clinic, Dwarika Clinic, but if you have to take it as a startup or an enterprise, so what is the fine line which you will draw and say, this is the startup and this is my medical clinic? Please tell us more about yourself, sir. You are on mute. Please unmute.
First of all, I like to thank Vyapaar Jagat team and Dr. Praveen Parmar for inviting me for this wonderful panel discussion. And then good evening to all of the panelists sitting along with me. And of course, to you, you are conducting a very good panel discussion, highlighting every aspect of health through these panelists. About me, I'm basically, you can say I'm a very hardcore allopathy practitioner. Allopathy domains exist for a surgical specialty. So I'm a hardcore gastrosurgeon. I'm a super specialist. Got my MCS degree from best center of India, that is Sanjay Gandhi PGI Lucknow. Then got my fellowship in a liver transplantation, pancreatic surgery, liver surgery, bariatric surgery, and practicing in Ahmedabad since last 13 years. And because I deal primarily gastric organs, so simply I would say whatever we eat, thereafter whatever the problem comes, they comes under our domain. Now problem can be different types. It can be gastric problem, it can be stone problem, it can be obesity problem, and it can be cancer of the gastric organs. Now, as a hardcore surgeon or gastrologist, we're treating these patients because they come to us when the disease comes to them. But as a super specialist, I have a lot of knowledge. And I'm very fond of teaching, reading, and sharing the knowledge. So we professionally teach the younger teachers, younger students, and we attend so many conferences, give our lectures, talk shows, CME, we keep on doing that. And for that, I also, what I realized in due course of time, and I got the information from my seniors. And what the first point you said at the beginning, doctors cannot market, but we can educate. So by that, my passion to educate the people about their good health, I think this can be the only point I can help society at large in return to the society, because anyone comes to me when they are affected by a disease. So only one person come to see me along with 4 family members. So I can educate only the 4 people from the family, what we do, how they should take a preventive measures. But I want to reach all over the society. I want to reach the globally. And for that, I took an initiative to start the new tool that is primarily educational tool. And we made a startup term of obesity doctor. This is a one-stop solution providing all authentic and scientific information about the weight loss. Yes, I am very supportive of Ayurveda. I am supportive of all alternate therapy. But through this platform, I want to appeal to all the practitioners from all the specialties. No one is a superior. We are complementing each other. So never ever claim to the patient that you are the best person to treat. No, we are not the best person. The best responder is the patient and her condition, her health, his genotype, his lifestyle. If he's compiled with our advice, he will get a best result, otherwise he will not. In my philosophy and my understanding, if we all alternative therapy or mainstream therapy come all together, understand their strength and understand their own weakness, then make a complementary association so we can select the person. This particular person needs this type of therapy up to this level. After that, he should go to this level. After that, he should go to that level. So because of this, if we are able to share this knowledge to the public at large, I think we can prevent most of the medical problems we have. And I would say most of the health problems so far we have.
Well, Dr. Saab, I have a very typical question because next I'm going to give a small presentation.
Yeah.
Nothing against the mainstream healthcare because I've been a hardcore hospital administrator. So, there is always an idea that when you start getting into the medical system, okay, it's sort of like a vicious cycle. And I will cover that very brief, but if you understood what I'm saying, it's like आप एक डॉक्टर के पास गए, ठीक नहीं हुआ, फिर उसने दूसरे को रेफर किया, फिर उसने बोला नहीं मेरे पैथी का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, फिर उसने तीसरे को रेफर किया. What is your opinion about this chain of referrals that go on?
So I would take another way now. I can think differently also.
Yes.
This is primarily failure of the education system. When you are mentally telling someone to think in only one direction, so he tend to think only one direction. I can't put a blame on that particular person. How we can educate the people about our existing therapies also. So I think if we should have liberal mind to listen, understand, accept these therapies also. But on the same time, what I said earlier, we are not a 100% curable person for them. We can help them to get rid of disease, but for that also, like for, I would say, liver disease. Liver disease starts with obesity, fatty liver. If you don't treat the fatty liver, liver get damaged, becomes cirrhosis. So then cirrhosis get damaged, then we go liver transplantation. Very simple disease. I always quote, if the person would have been better told about the eating behavior, sleeping behavior, there can all alternative therapy. But do you know, before you coming this field, are you aware of these things? Personally, I was not aware of these things because I was not exposed to this knowledge. Now, because I'm meeting people like you on different platforms, I'm knowing more potential benefit of these platforms. And I'm realizing this, yes, they can be helpful at some point of time in a person's medical history or medical treatment part. So I think it is a lack of system, education system, that didn't expose them to these useful tools of health. Today, because of the knowledge sharing, this is information technology use time. So here we are sharing more knowledge. So I hopeful that people will know about this, the benefit, limitation. They come forward. Now today, person come, they have knowledge and they question to us. The monopoly era has gone now. And we have to give very scientific information to them. I think that will help them to bridge this gap between the various therapies.
Great. That was really a fantastic answer, Dr. Tang. And it is a big learning lesson for all of us. I think Dr. Raghu would have noted a few points. What is it he can inculcate to actually take it forward in his education practice venture? Now it comes over to me. So I'm Dr. Usha Nair. I'm from Mumbai, and I will share a small presentation of what I do, because I'm very fortunate that most of the people on this session, not just being from healthcare, but they're also mainstream doctors. And what I believe is genomics. Shilpa ji, please mute.
Sorry.
Thank you. So I believe there is something additional or a disruptive science, and that is for accurate prognosis, and it may also help in prevention, precision healthcare. So just give me a minute while I share my 1 second. I'll share my screen.
So,
1 second.
Till then, I want to make a comment upon your comment, that disruptive medicine evolving since years altogether. If I see my allopathic science, 100 years before we are doing the open surgery, 60 years before, new surgery tool came up by 90s, is a laparoscopic surgery. In the beginning, even our medical fraternity was criticizing this newer approach. But when the innovation happened, safety measures were taken by the innovative companies. Now, the same laparoscopic surgery in 90s was contraindicated for the obese person, for the cancer patient, for the liver patient, heart patient. And I can say today, the thing has closed, I would move in a very 360 degree. Now, those things that they were contraindicated in the beginning of the procedures, now they become the mainstream indication, like bariatric surgery. Why they successful? Because of safety only. Why the cancer surgery give better result by the laparoscopy? Because of the better surgical dissection or lymph node retrieval. So things are moving. So disruptive science working since long time in every field. And I always give a very small example. The time was gone when we used to make a trunk call going to the post office to book a call. From there came the landline home. Then came the cordless phone. Then the simple phone. Now we have a smartphone. And this is happening in every field. And overall, we are getting more useful tool for benefit of the society. So same way, what you are talking to is genomics. I strongly support genomics because I can't take 2 minutes more here. Initially, we treat the patient based on the symptoms. You have the urine problem, we give something antibiotic presumptively on empirical basis. And then come the concept of urine culture. We can look into the bacteria causing the infections. Then come the sensitivity. We can check which antibiotic going to kill this bacteria. So same way things are evolving. And I know now we are moving towards gene therapy. Now we can identify which organ going to affect it in coming time. So we are part of these disruptive sciences, and society at large always get benefited by these newer tools for us. Now over to Dr. Usha.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Disruptions are there in every aspect of our life, not just our surgical attitudes and technologies. Today, AI is going to overcome all of us. But yes, this science is still very, very dynamic, getting explored, not yet is its recognition, I could say. But let me touch upon it, and we can, 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay, great. I am full screen now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. My system might be slightly slow, so if anything happens, please tell me. Great, friends. So thank you so much. I have been into healthcare since almost 3 decades now, and I today call myself a disease reversal expert because I will say, graduated over the past 3 decades in various aspects of healthcare, beginning from simple healing and acupuncture, naturopathy, some energy healing, and then I got into being a life sciences graduate. Then I got into postgraduate diploma in medical lab technology, where the pathology is and the reports help all the doctors actually have an accurate standing, like Dr. Tank mentioned, ki bacterial count kitna hai, uspe kaun sa antibiotics work karega, what is the best one, what is the second best. That is what the labs give you. After that, then I went ahead. I didn't want to get into any other MBA. I felt somewhere in me that now that I'm into healthcare and I'm into diagnostics, I will not leave the field of healthcare, because I, as a private healthcare professional, can make some difference there where nobody else is able to touch upon. So I was looking for a MBA in hospital and healthcare, and that happened as a pioneer batch. I was 35 by then, but I have always believed in learning and growing and ever educating myself. So I did my MBA from the pioneer batch of Symbiosis International, and this was a 2 years full-time. All my courses have been full-time courses. So that is again thanks to my family, my husband. They've been very supportive, even though he still believes I can't be an entrepreneur. But I think I don't mind. I still will remain an entrepreneur and a passionate healthcare professional at heart. So I have done various yoga, naturopathy, acupuncture. Today I'm a registered acupuncturist with the Maharashtra Acupuncture Council, which is the first of its kind in India for alternate complementary therapies. Yes, I have in the last 5 years been able to get very deeply, not 5 years, almost 7 years now, get very deeply into understanding genomics, the science. Genetics was my favorite subject in my life sciences, but and diagnostics happened, and nutrition as naturopathy had come to me. So these were various aspects. But then somewhere over the last 7 years, I was able to combine it, learn a new disruptive science that is called as nutrigenomics. That is your nutrition, your habits, your lifestyle, your dincharya, everything based on what you received from your forefathers in your genes. And I'm also the author of the India's first book on this science, Gene-Based Life. This book is the first Indian book to be having true Indian stories, what we call in our medical language as testimonials. So globally, my book is the first book which states the efficacy and the success of the science of nutrigenomics for disease reversal and as a living a healthy, happy, drug-free life. So that's a little about me. And like I was saying, it is our genes which can actually help us and be a very critical family guide. And that could help save somebody's life out there, because our genes not just gave us our ancestral eating habits, lifestyles, how we look, the hair, the eyes, the skin color, everything, but it also today by research, the concept has been found out after the Human Genome Project, which happened a good 13 years from 1990 to 2003. That's where the science has come up. And yes, like our ancestors gave us our genes, they also gave us all sorts of diseases, predispositions, risk factors to most of the lifestyle diseases that we have today, including cancer, diabetes, obesity. We have childhood obesity that is so alarming. Cardiovascular diseases, which is the topmost killer. It didn't have to be COVID, but yes, today COVID also has added on to that, and cardiovascular diseases is the highest killer globally today. So there is so much more, and all of us definitely make effort. We'll do some diet. We are all well aware. Like Dr. Tank mentioned, yes, we are having aware and well-educated patients who might look up Google, who might read some encyclopedias, and we all are aware with apps and net giving us and so much happening with the healthcare field. We know how much to diet, what to walk, whether to gym, whether to go yoga, everything is there. And what we also know is, if I fall sick, I have the curative system of medicine. But again, today I'd like to warn, especially after Corona, we know how limiting the infrastructure there is. If all of us in the world have to fall sick, then there are not enough doctors, there are not enough beds, there are not enough medicines, there are not enough facilities. So what we do is we tend to get to do a preventive health checkup, whether paid by our insurance or our corporates or whatever. We think that if I do a preventive health checkup today, I will be healthy for the next 1 year. And that, I feel, is the funniest part. Yes, again, touching upon the point of lack of education. Because simple, I do my blood test for sugar now and I do it after 1 hour. I again have to poke myself and pull out a few drops of blood to test my sugars. So it is very, very dynamic and changing every hour. Our health, our breathing, our parameters, our sugars, our heart rates, everything is changing. So preventive health checkups gives an assurance to people, "Arey, main agle 1 saal tak healthy hu," but they don't realize that that is not actually true. They still have to take care to maintain their medical report, which was there today in the preventive health checkups. They have to make an effort to keep it same for up to the next 1 year. Well, today I also offer the disruptive science that I mentioned is about predictive, proactive, personalized and preventive healthcare. So I call this not as precision medicine. I call it as precision healthcare. And it is very simple. You analyze your DNA, you do your DNA profiling, you include that in your preventive or your regular medical checkups. And that is what causes the disruption. That is what the science has researched and found today. If you understand your genes, you can actually use food as your medicine every single day. And what does this DNA profiling or the genes report or the genetic report tell you? It will tell you your disease risk, it will tell you your triggers, it will tell you your suppressors, it will give you your health indicators, metabolic changes, lifetime deficiency.
Dr. Usha.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting in between, but I think,
Yes.
we should come back to the panel discussion, and I think, we are diluting the subject. And
This is about my company, so if you allow me to complete.
It's okay, but so what I'm saying is, so being a moderator, I would suggest you to please conduct the panel discussion. So, it will be healthy and interactive for all the panelists, those who have, taken out from their busy schedule and they are here.
Yeah, this is actually about what I do. So let me finish. Everybody mentioned what they do. So this is what I do and how it helps. This is the disruption that is there. So if you tell me to stop the PPT, I'm fine with it. I have no issues.
All right, you can control. Okay.
So friends, like we were discussing, it is almost, I think we are also coming towards the close of our panel discussion. And what I would like to conclude is, it was a good, healthy discussion where there were a number of points put up very clearly, where when you are coming up with a startup, it is actually, you have to choose one problem. So today, what I choose as my solution is basically beginning right from your precise diagnostics based on your DNA and giving you the entire gamut of what is the kind of food, what suits you, what is the kind of lifestyle, what is the kind of predictive and preventive healthcare you need, whether you need gym in the morning, you need in the night, or just yoga can suit you. And then you live a disease-free life. So that is the problem I'm trying to solve, connecting the entire dots instead of going to separate verticals for separate doctors, separate specialists, and separate charges. So you want to save your lakhs in future healthcare, you can get back to me. But also what came out in the entire session was...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have certain questions for the doctors here.
Yes.
because we have doctors from all away from different fields, and I would never miss such an opportunity of questioning them. Being a clinical hypnotherapist myself, we have come across something like Dr. Vikesh. Cancer is kind of considered as a psychosomatic disease, which people have more in their minds and less in their bodies. I had patients who always complain, like they are much when the word cancer comes, when they are detected or diagnosed by for cancer, the body which they have is not that high, but that reaction, but their mind has that fear, like cancer is a big disease, it's not curable, and we are going to
It will
die,
kill
and
me.
then so that is why I prefer saying that it is a psychosomatic kind of a disease which they carry in their mind, and somewhere the immunity system in the body gets disturbed because the mind is disturbed, and they attract the sickness to come in their body. So how would you counsel on that part with the cancer patients there, Dr. Vikesh?
You're
So
on
you're
mute.
on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Psychosomatic is one part of cancer. The patients, once they are diagnosed with cancer, that is one big problem which the patient starts facing: the fear of death, the fear of having such a big disease. But apart from that, there is an organic component which decreases the immunity in patient's body because of cancer. Cancer causes a pathological term which is called as cancer cachexia. So all what we say, it starts affecting the entire immune system. Cancer, patients go into an immunosuppressive state with cancer. So psychosomatic, I would say it is just a part of the diagnosis of cancer, but per se, just patients having a lower immunity just because of psychosomatic, it is not that way. There is an organic component to cancer as well.
So, Jalpan, it's basically there can be genetic, non-genetic factors, there can be psychosomatic factors,
Right.
there can be diet and nutrition issues. But ideally, what you talk about counseling, that I will say Dr. Shilpa is what she
Exactly.
is that kind of a person is who does it, and they have to be involved. That's why any healthcare setup, you will have a lot of people. You'll have the dietitians, you'll have the pathologists, you'll have the main consultants who only look into your bimari. Then you will have the supportive people, maybe physiotherapists, you will have the counselors, medical psychologists are very, very an integral part of any healthcare ecosystem. So that is to be there. But as startups, each one of us is trying to super specialize and give a easy solution and accurate solution in our own field. So that is where startups come up, because we can't be going ahead and creating such a big ecosystem. So
Right.
for us,
So I have another question for Dr. Avinash Tank. Dr. Avinash, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, doctor, actually, most of the time, bariatric surgery is considered as one of the cosmetic surgery nowadays. See, I met a lot of women who have a big tummy and they want to come into shape, and then they want a shortcut going for bariatric surgery, and then they even consult doctors, and under their guidance they have done this thing. So somewhere there is a myth created. I agree to what you want to say. There is a myth concluded by the particular cosmetic surgeons, and in a commercial way. Would you like to share more knowledge and guidance, because this is a misconception which people carry with them?
Yes. Thank you, Jalpa, for this good question. This is a very important myth prevailing among the also mind. Number one, bariatric surgery is not a cosmetic surgery. bariatric surgery done for the morbidly obese person. And we all agree that obese person means is a medical problem. So obesity is a medical disease. This has been defined by WHO, World Health Organization, in year 1992. You just see how many years before, 30 before, they declared that obesity is a medical problem. Like we had COVID as a pandemic for us. So
Right.
30 before they declare is a medical disease, number one. And down the year to 1994, they made a guideline after which BMI this person should go for surgical treatment. Yes, so bariatric surgery done for a morbidly obese person. Now in current time, I would say the BMI is more than 37 for Indian Asian persons. They qualifies for bariatric surgery. And if someone is suffering from medical complications of obesity, like knee pain, backache, fatty liver, infertility, these are diabetes, dyslipidemia, we tell medical metabolic syndrome. So if someone having the metabolic syndrome or any complication of obesity, then the BMI level is lower down by 5 points. It means complication with BMI 32.6. They should undergo surgeries. So these are medical defined. Now your point is this the cosmetic surgery? No. Who prevails this concept of cosmetic surgery? In one word answer is insurance companies. Because liposuction is a cosmetic surgery that was came years before, decades before, to remove the excess fat from the area that looks cosmetically ungood for us. If like someone looking at tummy is bulging, so he want to remove some part of fat from that particular part. So it may be 2 kg, maybe 3 kg removal. So that was the liposuction, practically removing the fat, some excess part of the body. So liposuction is a cosmetic surgery that purely done to improve your cosmetic look. It does not help for weight reduction. The weight reduced is equal to the amount of fat reduced at the same time. It may be 2 kg, 3 kg, 5 kg, 7 kg, like that. On the other hand, bariatric surgery is a medical treatment. We never ever remove the fat. We do surgery on the intestine. And we make either stomach is small in size or we make a bypass surgery. And the effect is we reduce weight from 30 kg, 40 kg, 50 kg, 70 kg, 80 kg, extra fat is lost. So both are different dimension, because I feel personally insurance companies are taking this as a privilege to not to offer the benefit of health to the common people. They are telling this is a cosmetic surgery. Now very good point has come. The government of India has taken recognition of this concept, and 2014 they issued a notification and declaring that morbid obesity is a medical disease. They define the indications, and all the government agency-based beneficiaries like central government health services, like we are doing surgeries for them under this criteria. Now, based on this guideline by the government of India, now we are pressurizing the insurance company through our association like OC, Obesity Surgery Society of India, and to make them accept this as a proper indication for the benefit of the patients. Now the companies are coming up, they accepting the indications, they are giving the benefit to patient, but not as a pre-approval. After the surgery, they go for reimbursement. So we are struggling with them to convince them, but we'll look forward coming time, the benefit will be passed on the society in large. So I think now you are clear. Liposuction,
Like,
solution for the morbid obesity.
yeah, like I said, it is a myth, and I wanted you to clear this myth because there would be a lot of large audience who would be watching this video, and then they can actually differentiate between the liposurgery and the bariatric surgery. And I'm really grateful you brought that point about the insurance point, which you brought to the notice is very vital point, because insurance, as we all know, they have certain restraints, and then they need a reason to reject the claim. So there are certain things, it's really very good point, and I feel honored that you answered it well. That is what. Yes,
I want one more point, same thing. Insurance company have accepted it The few company are giving reimbursement, but they put some cap of 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year for the problem.
Right, right. So this is an awareness actually, because a lot of people are not knowing about it. Then the differences between the both the surgeries which you mentioned. Dr. Raghu, I'm coming up to you with my question bank. How do you think, apart talking from all the scientific treatments, there is one more treatment which we call is naturopathy, along with the allopathy treatments and all the treatments, because major big diseases, they cause mental stress, as we discussed earlier with Dr. Vikesha. How beneficial has been this naturopathy to the patients who have such big indications of death and threats of deaths coming to them? And have you ever found that it up to some extent, is it helping the patients or not? We want to know from you.
Dr. Raghu, unmute.
Very interesting question. Here I would like to mention my other profile. I work as a research consultant for many pharmaceutical companies. I help them customizing the molecule to their products. Though my expertise limited to the oral care and the industries related to that, but I get to meet many scientists and medical related research guys. Here, end of the day, I would like to mix both allopathic and Ayurvedic or naturopathy and everything. End of the day, it's either alkaloid, polyphenols, or one of these ingredient is the one which is doing the action. We may call it as a different names. I call it as a chlorhexidine, or somebody calls it as something. But end of the day, if it is a cytotoxic, or it is probably an anti-inflammatory or antimicrobial, this is all it is. End of the day, that is all the functional aspect is. We have categorized from the education system, or from the understanding system, or maybe from the different perspective. But at some point, we had a kind of an approach. We went purely scientific. Then we are at present, we are more on the evidence base, and now we are integrating all the sciences together. China has been tremendously doing the job. Like their native medicines have been, become the mainstream medicine for their, general health maintenance as well. From that perspective, your question of how this naturopathy is helping, of course, it is helping a lot in terms of understanding which molecule is actually working. When we say neem, or when we say a clove, or we say this thing, we are no more at the level of understanding as an ingredient. We have come to the chemical composition, which composition is. Now at that point, it is not allopathic, it is not a naturopathy, it is the molecule which is working. I think I have answered your question. It is what works is the specific molecule at a cellular level. It's no more and whether it is a naturally derivative, whether it is a lab made, or whether it is a mineral and all those things, it is the ingredient which enters the cell and does the job is the ultimate thing.
Well, Jalpan, if
Absolutely.
I can ask a naturopath how naturopathy works. So simply, he answered it in a medical language, pharmacology-wise molecule. But if I can make it simpler, then our naturopathy medicines are called as kitchen remedies, Dadi Ma ke nuske. So our haldi is antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. Our ginger is very good. Fiber from natural vegetables, fruits is very good. Then we talk about a lot of such. Tulsi is there.
Yeah, Dr. Avinash is raising
so much
his
is
hand. Dr. Avinash, you were raising your hand. You would like to add something?
So I want to add one, if time permits to me. I am a strong believer of naturopathy.
Okay.
But I think there's a misconception among the people what naturopathy is. And what I feel is eating naturally available things. Follow the process of nature. Starting with get up in the morning on time, go to bed on the time, do yoga, meditation, what our 3-4 generation used to do it. And most important thing, don't eat the thing that not supposed to eat. And what they are in simple words. I say, remember what our Dadi Dada, Nana used to eat. They are eating actually all natural food products. They're grown in the surroundings. They're not imported, exported material. We are used to eat them. And naturally, they are not meant for us. The food grown on the other part of the land is not suitable for our health. The food grown by some other artificial ways is not suitable for us. So I feel personally that you should eat things available in surrounding or area, in natural grown. If you eat these things, in simple word, don't eat factory made food.
Exactly.
Just eat farmer grown the food in all the way.
Yeah.
That is
But
a way.
somewhere, don't you think, sir? Sorry to interrupt you in between. Somewhere we see that we talk about organic food a lot nowadays. It has been a trend. But what is organic? Is this again the food which people say is absolute organic? No, it isn't. Actually, which the food, the grains and the crops in the land which they are being sowed, actually they use fertilizers, they do use chemicals in that, and then they come up with the process called these are organic grains. So somewhere I think the world is so polluted and so addicted to chemicals. Yes sir, please.
So again, in my definition, natural is अपने जो एनिमल्स का जो मैन्योर होता है, that is a natural material. That is a natural fertilizer for our all the crops, I would say.
Yeah.
So I can give example. Things are moving again 360 degree.
Yeah.
The 60s, 70s, because of the insecticides, we come the concept of fertilizer to prevent our crop from these insects. Now, because of our own behavior, to get more with less investment, we overuse these chemicals. And what is suffering is indirectly we are consuming so much chemicals in different ways. In a fast food, in a preserved food. So my philosophy is understood that if we are able to achieve this, but yes, the crux is that what I'm telling is practically we can't meet the need of every society person.
Exactly.
More of we become educated, more we remain aware of these things, then we minimize the consumptions.
Right.
I think Dr. Usha is from the naturopathy. What they used to say, eat your food as a medicine.
Exactly.
Aware of proper food, consuming them very wisely in appropriate amount, in appropriate time. I think we can take care of most of the problems right now we have.
True. And I think Dr. Raghu Narayan, he wants to share something. He's smiling with the bright, he has a bright smile and he wants to
Dr.
share
Avinash
something.
and now for all the panel doctors, I have a very interesting thing to share. On the research side, for pharmaceutical companies, there is a big challenge. Amino acids extracted or prepared in the lab are amino acids used as a manure to the plant, and then a specific product is generated. One is like directly taken from the animal source. The other one is like the plant is rerouting the same animal as a product. Now, how do we call these two as a different thing? Just because it is from the lab, the other one is the plant has done the lab work and given the fruit as a thing. Now one becomes a vegetarian source, the other becomes an animal source. Now it is a big thing.
But that's also where a lot of new technology, where bioenzymes, etc., are being used in agriculture today to get back to the original how agriculture and fertilizers were being used. The natural part of it comes there.
Let us talk with Dr. Shilpa Desai over here, because I think she has shared a very small amount of her. Why being so miser, Dr. Shilpa? Please share your knowledge over this thing. Dr. Shilpa, are you there? I think she is busy in some work. Dr. Vikesh, you too also can throw some limelight on this particular topic, which everybody of us is enjoying here. You two are enjoying it and being miser to share about it.
I will lead him with one question. Dr. Vikesh, somebody in the 4th stage of cancer, gallbladder removed, and jumped from 1st stage straight to 3rd stage. The biggest of hospitals do not focus on diet specifically and nutrition. So what do you do with your immunotherapy? How does that fall in place?
That falls in place to a great extent. As you have told, some patients from stage 1 to stage 3. I had one of the celebrity doctors who was diagnosed with stage 4 gallbladder cancer. and we had treated her with immunotherapy. Post immunotherapy, she had gained almost 8 kgs weight. She started jogging for 8 kilometers daily, 2 hours swimming, and she was leading a healthy life with a healthy routine. So this is how the immunotherapy has created a change in her life with stage 4 gallbladder cancer. And she had a healthy life throughout. Still, she survived. There were no signs of any clinical deterioration, nothing, and she was absolutely healthy. And apart from this immunotherapy, I would like to add the discussion which is going on. Because right now, the world which we are living in, each and every part of our world is polluted. So where are we going to save ourselves from the this deadly and vicious cycle which we are living? It is just as much as healthy lifestyle we as a person could lead that is going to save us. Otherwise, rest all is just what we will keep on speaking, talking, but there is no solution to it.
It's all about awareness, like we were talking, the right kind of
Yes,
education going not
yes,
just to our patients, but also to their families, where
families.
again,
Yes,
genomics plays a very, very important role, where it actually tells you कि आपके शरीर को क्या सूट करता है, how much of the exercise, कौन सा खाना can be a poison. Like I will give my example. I am a South Indian. We drink coffee, but my entire family is caffeine intolerant. If I have
oh,
coffee, I will trigger heart diseases, and it will also affect my IL-6 homocysteine. Same with my daughter, with my husband. Daughter, fine, same genes, but husband is a different gene. Only commonality is we are South Indians. So
South
that
Indian.
is the starking difference. Then again, what Dr. Tank was mentioning, eat local foods. Uska simple matlab ye hai, olive oil is not for us. Olives हमारे इंडिया में नहीं बनते, but today we are following so much of the
So much
West.
of
Arey, olive oil, very healthy. You won't believe. I didn't know we could not cook olive oil. Olive oil is
uh,
only for upar se dressing in salads and
that's
whatever.
it.
Yeah,
That
That's it.
so
reminds,
And
that
the
reminds me to bring this point that geographically based
yes,
locations we are placed. So
and
we have to take different foods accordingly to the geographical location which we are staying in. So if I stay in Gujarat and I follow the North Indians eating paneer and
mustard oil and
and all
yes,
these
yes.
things, my body would not respond in a healthy way.
Then
So
again, talking about triggers of cancer that you were saying, psychosomatic, a simple vitamin B12 and D deficiency, which goes lifetime, affects your metabolism and it can trigger cancer. You know,
cancer,
that
you are
is,
right.
and 99% of Indians are vitamin B12 and D deficient. How do we
right.
know? We take multivitamins, we think we are healthy, and we forget about it. But that's the system how treatment happens. So high time we get more educated about our own selves. And yes, South Indian होके coffee नहीं ले सकती. But again, if you talk about Ahmedabad, I think आपके यहाँ उस area में sunflower है, महाराष्ट्र में groundnuts है, केरला में of
Ground.
course coconut oil है, north में और east में mustard oil है. So those are the kind of foods, again taking us back to our traditions, कि हमारे जो दादी माँ खाती थी वही हमको खाना है, क्योंकि वो वही उगाते थे. But one new concept that everybody is doing is kitchen horticulture. Today, everybody wants to plant greens. Everybody is changing their lifestyles now. They understand what is junk food. They know, they still delve in it. But I think habit change is a process. So like we
So
I have
mature in
one
our
question.
startups, it's the same.
deriving, this is deriving us to the point where you should know what your genes are and how your genes are responding to any of the treatment which you are taking, and you should listen to your body where it is recovering. So you should have some self conversation and you should have a self evaluation over your physical activities, and so accordingly you can plan
Everything,
your
even your
daily
sleep,
routine, starting
even
from
your,
your daily routine.
yeah, your
So if somebody
lifestyle.
is saying lime water, I can't follow that person and इसने lime water लिया, ये पतली हो गई, and it doesn't affect the same way which I have. My body structure is different, hers is different. We all, I think, like we all respond in a different manner. It's just like those fingertips. You know those fingerprints.
Yes.
God has made fingerprints. Everybody is different.
It's
The same way.
precisely the same. Dr. Raghu was
Yeah.
saying something.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr.
I
Ravi.
have one question to Dr. Vikesh. Since he's on the immunotherapy side, and I still believe
Can
that
you be
it is
slightly louder?
it is the immunotherapy is still at a very infant stage, and they are more targeted towards the cancer side. Do you see in future this immunotherapy would evolve to an extent where it would replace our most of antibiotics and anything related to that? Because there is a high potential that like when you identify the specific a cell or a specific WBCs are targeting a specific antimicrobial this thing, why not in this way?
Yeah, there is a lot of research also going on, and this is going to means in near
Revolutionize
future. Yeah, this is going to revolutionize all the medical aspects of different kinds of diseases. So this is going to be a big breakthrough in many other diseases. The way we are treating, everything is going to change in future.
There is a room for a lot many startups to look into this aspect, this space.
Yes.
And
Even
also,
I would like to add, even what we say, the immunology part is going to change the autoimmune disorders the way we are treating right now. In future, it is going to become a more kind of personalized cell-based, where we trigger the regulatory T cells. They automatically are going to downgrade the autoimmunity. So there is a lot
That'll
of
be a game changer. That'll be a game changer.
yes. It is going to be the game changer in the near future. There is a lot of data. There is a lot of research going on in this field as well.
And that's a big threat for pharma companies then.
Even I have a question for Dr. Avinash Tak. Dr. Avinash, I'm not going to leave you so easily because I'm so lucky to be here on this platform with all of you here. And I have a question like cirrhosis of liver. There are two kinds of cirrhosis of liver. And then there are misconceptions because mostly people have that myth that cirrhosis of liver hua hai, khoob daru pita hoga, ye hoga, wo hoga, and then they mix it all. So can you just again differentiate between these two types of cirrhosis of liver here for us?
Yes. So again, liver cirrhosis means the end stage damage to the livers. Whatever way, whatever medicine or whatever ill habit we going to have, anything going to damage the liver if it's continuous, persistent, and it does not give time liver to recover, because liver is the only organ, if you give time to recover, it 100% recovers. Only beautiful organ in the body. But because of some reason we keep on insulting liver continuously, regularly with higher dose, is at a stage that it is going to fail. So the disease known as cirrhosis. Now, in broadly speaking, there are two types of cirrhosis. One is the alcoholic, second is non-alcoholic. In non-alcoholic, there are a variety of causes, and that is autoimmune disease, some metabolic disease, we know. But the point of discussion at this platform, I want to share with you that the one is alcoholic, second non-alcoholic means because of the fatty liver. Because we are sitting for the startup point of view, we are sitting for the preventive healthcare. So fatty liver disease, when we have the excess weight, we gain a fat. So that fat got accumulated in 2-3 places in intestine. One, the omentum, second is the liver, pancreas, and surrounding the intestines. Now this fat is very dangerous in all the way. The one of damage, it is going to damage the liver. Now the point of differentiation, how to? There is no differentiation, the only name are different, but outcome is the same. The alcohol we all know going to damage the liver down the 10 years. Same way, if your liver is fatty, you don't reduce your weight, it is going to fail in coming 10 years. So if someone is not taking alcohol, but is overweight, fatty liver persistently raising their liver enzymes, ultimate end is liver cirrhosis. So people have the myth in the mind, okay, I don't take alcohol, I'm only fatty, and fatty patients don't have the symptoms. So that is the biggest myth I face as a challenge, how to convince them. And the only way is until they have the problem. Before that, we can't convert them. So fatty liver going to damage the liver. So we tell NASH, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Okay.
So it has 3 stages also. In the beginning, you are conscious, aware, take a part of all these preemptive advices and measures. You can reverse the fatty liver to some extent till fibrosis grade 1 and grade 2. Fibrosis 3, very difficult to revert back. And then you progress to the liver cirrhosis.
Right.
So name are different, cause are different, outcome is different. Only the perception has to be changed. So fatty liver means we should give a due attention to all the persons suffering from the fatty liver. Ultimate, you are going to suffer a lot.
Right. Absolutely, you made it very clear to people, and we all know. And still, obesity is a danger in anybody's health, body health. And you should keep an alarm in your mind. You have to set an alarm in your mind to maintain your health physically, and not to touch the grounds of obesity. Well, that is really very informative conversation once again. And if in case someone wants to say something, we can continue with that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only last point, as a preventive aspect for the obesity. Now, obesity is a cause of cancer. I am sure you are not aware of this point. Only Dr. Vikesh knows. We take alcohol, it causes cancer of liver, pancreas, food pipe, esophagus, stomach. If you take a smoking, causes cancer of the lung and oral cavity. If you take a tobacco, it causes cancer of oral cavity only. So one addiction at one or two, three organs are affected. But worst part, surprising part is that obesity causing cancer of 12 organs. 12 organs at this moment. In coming time, every organ going to affected have a cancer because of the obesity. So if you see by age wise, yeah, I would say sex wise, all female organs have risk of developing cancer because of the obesity. It starts from breast, cervix, uterus. In the male, it starts from the lungs, liver, pancreas, stomach, esophagus, and colon. Then go kidney cancer, prostate cancer. The obesity is an upcoming risk factor for them. So don't take it light as obesity. It's a cancer causing factor. Like similarly, if you know alcohol can cause a cancer, worse than that, people are not aware of it. They don't know it. So we should create awareness in the society that whatever overweight you are having today, in the beginning, you have good time to reverse it. The here road comes as a reversal expert. Dr. Usha can create more awareness in the society, but not to the point when cancer develops, then we regret what we can do. So this is my point. The obesity is a cancerogenic factor for us. So we should take care of obesity as a very alarming time for the society in large. Thank you.
Thank you so
Is
much,
amongst,
doctor. Yes, Dr. Vikesh, you spoke very less, and we want to have your words again.
Unmute.
Yeah. Avinash sir, right now we had a discussion regarding alcoholic fatty liver disease, NASH, and these things. So from this, what we say, panel discussion, I have a small inspiration, and I'm going to work on that part. Why not we work on the pathway of macrophages as well as lipid metabolism, and let us see if we find some solution for fatty liver disease. So I'm surely going to work on this pathway.
Definitely, I am looking very forward for the immunotherapy. In simple, I always tell the patient, immunotherapy is a natural way to cure your cancer. Because he's not giving any medicine to the patient, he's taking the cancer cell from the blood of the patient, do engineering in the laboratory, and then inject in the patients. So no medicine given to them. So it's one of that natural way, lab tested well, lab enriched the molecule giving to patient, and it is very useful. I'm very hopeful this way because today they are treating advanced case of the. It is challenging. They are offering to the conventional treatment of cancer, but as we get good results like naturopathy, I think it will take a good lead in the coming time as a part of cancer treatment.
Yes.
So this is a disruptive science going on with the cancer treatment.
Yes.
Well, don't worry. I do have technology which is coming into it with detailed medical reports. So I will share with both of you, and I'm sure we can work together. But again, like obesity causes cancer, it's similar to what we say, diabetes is a silent killer. Same way, we got to know from Dr. Tank that obesity is a silent killer too, especially leading us towards cancer. So obesity, cancer, and deficiencies, B12, D, everything combines to us being just more educated, more aware, and more aware to take care of ourselves, which we generally forget. So that is the biggest takeaway. We must, only education won't help unless we apply it. So
What a
what,
wonderful
what
conversation we all had here. And see, we crossed 30 more minutes for with this discussion. And I think like if we sit here and discuss, we will have an overnight conversation too. And because of the time restraint, Praveen, are you there? If you want to share some knowledge or if you have any questions, because we won't get this chance again with so many doctors together.
No,
Before
see,
Praveen
health.
makes, I think, and I would like to make one last few
Sure.
Yeah,
sentences
please
here.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Raghuji, yeah.
from the discussion, panel discussion point of view, the future of healthcare, I would like to give a little things to a startup, whoever is watching these kind of things. The post-corona change in the patient mentality or a common man mindset is something they should be really looking into. The digital revolution or a spontaneous rewarding factors like a Swiggy or Uber and all those things. In the common man or the general public has been used to kind of things. You make some, touch a button and you have a services back, but that has not been translated in the medical field or a healthcare industry. That is where they have a big room for improvement and evolutionary or very disrupting ideas they can come up with. The connecting these two dots and the playing a little tech play between these two, that is like a common man and the healthcare providers, is very less evolved side of a whole business what I have pursued in last few decades. So they have to look into those areas and plug the points and make sure that our society is evolved and our as a service providers we have reached the heights, but the seeker is not aware of this. As Dr. Avinash kept on mentioning, the education part, Dr. Vikesh mentioning about the newer treatment aspects or modalities available, the Usha's insights about the genetics. How many common man is aware of this, and how do we reach out to them and find a silo specifically to make a product and then connect these two? This is what my personal overview about today's panel discussion.
Absolutely. And this actually people like who are non-doctors, majority of them, I actually popped up with an idea to have a one close session after we finish this event, for the awareness of the people about the obesity, about diabetes, and about cancers, because these are the major illness people are facing in day-to-day life, and they are going on with that. That would be like an awareness campaigns which we can do it online. Praveen, if you can agree, of course, with your approval would be needed in that.
Absolutely.
Because Vyapaar Jagat can bring these campaigns forward. And we have such a wonderful doctors panel here talking about these things. And closing to the point is, it is said that apple a day keeps the doctor away. But if you have a discussion with such lovely and wonderful, amazing minded doctors, you would never like to eat an apple in your entire lifetime. So we got a lot of awareness here, and I am so much grateful to all the doctors who spend their precious time and brought this awareness and the future about the healthcare to all the people who are watching this video. Will get a lot of knowledge about their healthcare, their personal healthcare, and how do they prevent coming into this danger zones. So over to you, Praveen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And in fact, I was simply, listening the entire discussion which we are going. So I think, it was such a healthy discussion wherein we forgot that we are online and the kind of discussions were going on. But so yeah, I think health is something which is the topmost priority for everyone. And personally, I also feel that people are not educated. In fact, people are doesn't know certain basic things. Okay, we blindly following. So more like we are a kind of superstitious. I mean, we know that our parents were doing this, so we start doing it. But what is the actual logic? What is the algorithm behind it? Why these things are working, right? And that awareness is very important, no matter whether we are talking about the Ayurveda, or we are talking about the naturopathy, or we are talking about the allopathy, homeopathy, right? But so in every angles, people should have certain awareness. And when the country like India is following the culture of Western, right? So it becomes very important because people doesn't apply their brain. They simply start following so many things, which even the Indian weather or Indian culture doesn't allow. Wherein because there are set of things which are made as per the weather and the nature of a particular region, but people doesn't know. So I think these kind of sessions are very useful, and I'm sure this talk will help to a lot of people. And yeah, it was indeed great talk. So thank you so much everyone for taking out your time. And I was just scrolling the WhatsApp group wherein Dr. Avinash was saying that when this will end, and it took almost 40 minutes more, because our time was 4 to 5 and we are at 5:40 now, right? So but it was a great discussion happening. So thank you so much once again everyone for your time and all your insights and experiences you have shared in